Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Street League Drone Racing. We're going to be kicking off finals here in just a couple of moments. Today, we're joining you from Citrus Springs, Florida at the ranch. That's No Quarter Ranch. Brought to you by LED Girl and LED Boy, one of the most amazing drone racing facilities that we've ever been to. And we're excited to be bringing this race to you today. Street League Drone Racing is spec drone racing. We're running 7-inch drones here, and we chose that because that was where we found the best racing to be. We've also done some speed limiting that made sure that the racing is the most competitive that it can be. It kind of closes that gap between the really fast pilots and some of the less fast pilots, and it makes them really work for that win, which ultimately leads to a lot more competitive drone racing all around and some really exciting finishes. And I think you guys will get to see some of that as we go into these first heats. So this is our top 8 from our pilots that we ran today. And we are really excited to be kicking off semifinal A. This is their first heat. We got 2 semifinals. We got semifinal A, semifinal B. They're each going to run 2 races. The winner of each of those races is going to be advancing to the top 4 to decide who is going to be standing on the podium for this event and earning the most street cred, our cryptocurrency that is the only currency we will be accepting to make it to the championship at the end of the year. Competing in semifinal A is going to be Engineer, Mixed Signals, Amari, and King. Less than 2 minutes till the start of the race here as our pilots get settled in. Go ahead and check out that launch stand. Looks like we've got a couple of potentially... we got it going. Here we go, pilots. This is semifinal A. Heat number 1 as they all go into the under-over section. Onto the Dunkaroo. I hear some clanks as quads meet steel, but they all stay up in the air battling it out. Right now it's going to be Engineer in first place. On to the second lap. He's going to be followed closely by Mixed Signals, then Amari, then King. Mixed Signals and Amari absolutely battling it out for that second place position, but they're all chasing behind the tails of Engineer as he goes into the spiral portion of the track. An absolutely blazing first lap for him. We're going to see if he's able to improve on that here in the second lap. It looks like the timer's missing laps from Engineer, but right now he is in the lead. Mixed Signals in second place, then Amari. And that's going to be it for Engineer, taking the win. A first place from him. Mixed Signals in second place, then Amari in third. King finishing out in fourth. And they're off and away, all clean. Looks like Amari with the whole shot there. As he leads the pack. Amari trying to get that victory that I think he believes should be his. Mixed Signal is going to be chasing him down, though. Right now, they're going on into the Dunkaroo. It's going to be Amari, then Mixed Signals, then King. Actually, scratch that. King now moving up into second place. It's going to be Amari in first, though, as he goes on to lap number 3, the last lap of the race. No competition yet. King can see him in his view, but he's off in the distance by about a gate. As they go around the Dunkaroo section through the tunnel with Amari. Amari is going to be able to hang on to it, I think, as he goes around the spiral, around the slalom, and into the straightaway. Amari is going to be your final advancee going to the top 4. Congratulations, Amari. You're now a top 4 pilot after becoming our Street League champion in last race, race number 1 in Las Vegas. He's looking to do it again in race number 2, Citrus Springs. All right, we're going to be kicking off Heat B here. We're going to be moving on with Hyper, Manny himself, Infinity, and Lead Fingers. Go ahead and get your quads staged, and we're going to run this one to figure out our next advancee. And they're off and away onto the first portion of our track. A beautiful feed of quads with the LEDs on the track, LEDs on the quads. Hyper, though, going to be in the lead. Manny himself out in second place. Actually, looks like he's going to be chasing after Lead Fingers. And they're all through the Dunkaroo into the spiral portion of the track. It's going to be Hyper leading the pack as he goes on to the third and final lap. He's going to be followed closely by Lead Fingers, rocking that HD quad. Manny himself now jumping into the second place position as Lead goes down, and it looks like Hyper through the Dunkaroo into the tunnel. He's going to be free and clear, your first advancee into the top 4. Hyper doing it with style, with a little bit of flair there at the end. Second place is going to go to Manny himself. Infinity is going to finish out third here. Nice little crash gate from Infinity there. Great racing from our pilots. Congratulations to Hyper. You're going to be advancing to the top 4 and guaranteeing yourself some extra street cred, the currency of Street League, and the only way to buy your ticket to the championship. And we're coming to you live now with semifinal B Heat 2. This is the final heat of our Elite 8 battle. We're going to be finding our final advancee between Manny himself, Infinity, and Lead Fingers as they all go through the start gate into the under-over section. It looks like Manny battling it out with Lead Fingers for the lead right now, but Infinity jumping up to that lead now as they go into the Dunkaroo. A little bit of collision between Infinity and Lead Fingers. Manny himself now blazing onto the lead into the spiral portion of the track, around the outside of that flag and through our start finish. He's going to go on to lap number 2 nice and clean, leading the way for Infinity and Lead Fingers as they battle it out, trying to make up that position. This is do or die for them. Whoever wins this, he advances, and right now that's looking to be Manny himself as he makes it clean through the Dunkaroo. Lead Fingers going through next, Infinity in third. Manny himself now through the spiral portion of the track, coming onto our final straightaway. This is going to be lap number 3 for him as he goes through the timer. He's still followed closely by Lead Fingers. Lead Fingers is going to have to try everything he possibly can, but he clips the gate, and that's going to let Infinity jump into the number 2 position as Manny himself hangs on to that lead. He's just got to do it for half a lap here as he goes through the tunnel, now into the spiral portion of the track. Infinity chasing close behind. He can see the green LEDs of Manny, but it's not going to be enough as Manny goes onto the straightaway through the start-finish gate, and it's going to be Manny, your 4th and final advancee to the top 4. Congratulations to Manny. This heat going to decide who ends up on the podium and who ends up just shy. Your last place pilot going to get dropped, and then we'll run it back to drop and decide our 3rd place pilot. And they're off and away. A clean start from all of them. Right now the whole shot looks like it's going to go to Hyper into the split S gate. He's going to be chasing Engineer now into the Dunkaroo. Hyper in 2nd place. You can see the LEDs from Engineer's quad as they go on to the next lap.
Hyper, lap 1, 21.8. Amari, lap 1, 30.6. Manny himself, lap 1, 24.1.
Some brilliant racing from our pilots here. Looks like Hyper in first place, Amari in second, Manny himself in third.
Engineer, lap 1, 20.0. Hyper, lap 2, 22.9.
And it looks like we're going to lose Manny
Amari,
on that
lap 2,
one.
23.6.
He's going to be our first drop E, and it's going to leave
minute.
Hyper out in first place, Amari in second, Engineer in third. The final portion of the track, it's going to be Hyper in blue going around onto the straightaway, and Hyper takes the win. Amari
Hyper, lap 3, 23.0.
going to come in just behind
Winner is
Engineer.
Amari, lap 3, 24.0.
Excellent racing there. Manny laid it all out on the track. And the excellent sportsmanship from both Amari and Engineer, allowing them to not only maintain the good relationship with their fellow pilots, but also their piloting allowing them to advance further. Your top three, it's going to be Hyper, Amari, and Engineer, but in what order, we don't yet know. All right, we've got pilots, we've got thumbs, we've got quads on the line and ready to go.
The course will be closed in 2 minutes.
We got start tones. And they're off and away. It's going to be Hyper, Amari, and Engineer all clocking in their first pass through the start gate and now down through the split S gate. Who's going to be the pilot to get dropped this round? Right now, it's looking to be Hyper as he chases down and hunts those LEDs of Amari and Engineer. Amari, our previous champion from the Las Vegas drone race, Street League Drone Race 1.
Engineer, lap 1, 21.4.
He's now hunting
Amari,
down
lap 1,
Engineer. Going on to lap number
22.3.
2. Engineer looking very fast out on the track, going through the Dunkaroo. A beautiful one from him. Amari chasing close after, and Hyper sitting out in third place, trying to make something happen. We've seen a giant fishing reel before from him in sim racing. Is he going to be able to do it IRL on the streets where it matters in
Amari,
Street League?
2,
They're up through the under-over section, through the split S, and all the way to the Dunkaroo. And a little bobble there from Hyper. He's going to go down, and that's going to be it for him as Engineer and Amari finish out their pack. It's going to be third place for Hyper as Amari finishes his heat. Engineer finishes his.
Lap 3, 22.9.
Hyper with a valiant effort, but he's going to finish out the event in third place.
30.3.
A little flippy floppy action from him. He's not too upset. He's going home with a ton of street cred for the podium, as well as some cash prizes. Great racing, pilots. We're going to be kicking off our third and final heat of the top 4. It's going to be a 1v1, Amari versus Engineer.
10 seconds.
Here we go. We've got tones. We've got pilots in the air. It's going to be Amari versus Engineer. And it looks like right now Engineer in the lead. Is Amari going to be able to catch him? He's sure trying hard. He clips props with him. That's going to let Engineer have a little bit of a bobble. And Amari into the lead now, into the Dunkaroo. He's got the fastest quad that he was able to build. He did some special sauce to it to make sure that he could hang with the best of the best. And the best of the best right now is going to be Amari and Engineer going on lap number 2. Amari in the lead, the previous Street League race champion from Las Vegas, is now leading the pack again today in our final 1v1 heat. Engineer versus Amari. Through the tunnel they go into the spiral section. Amari on a tear, looking smooth, looking clean as he goes on to lap number 3. Engineer not quite able to catch up. Is he going to be able to do it through the under-over portion of the track? Not quite gaining too much there as Amari keeps it nice and clean now into the Dunkaroo and then the tunnel. An amazing line from him there, and the bobble from Engineer. And it looks like it's all falling apart from Engineer. He may have to settle for second as Amari goes on to the final straight away. And it's going to be Amari, your Street League drone racing champion for race number 2. He is the 2-time, and he spikes the quad, but can't kill it because that's how we do it here. We race the best drones, the best pilots, at the best tracks all day long to find out who the Street League champion is. And that's going to be Amari setting a 1:13.49 for your final race. Congratulations, Amari, on the win. Engineer taking home second place. Not too shabby for his first Street League race. Absolutely killing it. So this is our first Street League drone race here in Florida. This is your first Street League race. In general, to spec the racing and the competition. Start of the competition. How was the competition at this race? How would you describe your opponents going into the top 4 there?
I mean, everyone else in the finals was a DRL pilot, so that's kind of hard, to be honest with you. They're all pretty experienced with 7-inch quads. It's what they fly on the show. It's what they fly all the time. It's fairly similar to what we're flying.
Absolutely, but even said, you managed to take a couple of heats there during points rounds and qualifying from both Amari and Engineer. Do you think that you're at a similar level as them? Do you think that there's an opportunity for you to come back and maybe show them up?
Yeah, I think a little more practice time. Just, put in more work, get more time in, stick time. It's always just a battle to get more.
And of course, Amari is always known for building the fastest spec drones that anybody could imagine.
He is. I don't know what that man eats, but he builds some insane spec quads.
Yeah, so anyway, you looked pretty great out there, and you threw hands absolutely with the best of them. So congratulations. Here is your 3rd place trophy. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you so much, Scott.
We'll be sending you a... You'll have to let us know what your Bitcoin address is, because that's how we do things around here. And we'll figure it out.
For you shortly.
Yep. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we're going to have Engineer. So, Engineer. How was that?
Dude.
You went into top 4, had to throw hands with all of them.
Yeah.
How'd that progression feel for you?
So, I haven't processed that yet. Now, qualifying was, you could look at the points. It was pretty clear that, Mason and I... Amari, where do you qualify, actually? You had, besides the 1 pack. Yeah, but you had some hot times. So, Amari obviously has some hot times. Mason can throw down some hot times. I think Mason has the fastest lap on the track. But I was really comfortable going into it, and I had no reason to be, worried at that state and time. So the first turn, I think I had the whole shot on him, and then by the time we were through the knot tunnel, I don't know what happened. So we're going to have to watch both sides of that DVR and figure that out, because you got in front, and all of a sudden I was like, what the heck? Because
I think both our audience and myself know that the DVR is wild.
Okay.
So I'm going to be looking forward to watching that back on the stream for sure.
My thought process mid-heat was like, well, let's reel him in now, right?
Yep.
And, you've learned this, I've learned this, Amari knows this from flying DRL. You need to be calculated in when you strike. And I was doing exactly that. So you can't just, overcook it into the next turn that you get behind, because you've got 3 laps to catch him, so use it.
Yeah.
So I was pulling back, and I was flying clean, and I was happy. I'd actually love to see the lap times.
Yeah.
Because my first lap was fine, obviously not the fastest start I've ever had, because something happened and then prop wash. But then I know my second lap was fast, and I could tell that I was reeling him in. Beauty of the LEDs, especially Amari's. You can see everybody.
You could absolutely see him. We made him turn those down for this race, so you're welcome for that one.
I appreciate it. So we go into the 3rd lap, and I can tell I'm still gaining. And by the Dunkaroo section, I figured I would be able to catch him if I gave it everything. And I threw it in, and I think barely... It might not have been a barely clipped. I hit the gate. But it was... if that had landed, I think I could have caught him. But either way, phenomenal flying, bud. And he's not listening. Phenomenal flying. It was a lot of fun. It was a great race.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a trophy for you. So this is your trophy. We will be needing you to provide us with a Bitcoin address to send your earnings to, and also your street cred. So thank you so much for joining us, and also awesome racing.
Yeah, thank you, Sky.
Yeah.
And Lead Fingers and J Rice. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thanks. All right, we're going to be bringing on our winner again. This is the second time that we will have had the conversation of me sending you Bitcoin. And also,
third time that's happened.
and also street cred. Amari's a big fan of Bitcoin.
Big crypto fan. That's for sure.
And now you're out here mining street cred. How did you pull off the win there? Because you weren't getting first in those first
No,
four
was not.
races.
Well, first off, as we all know, that Street Cred is proof of speed. So that's what I was out here mining today doing.
Yep.
Honestly, the way I love the format so much. It's so unique in that it rewards consistency on top of speed.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely was not in contention those first like 2 or 3 heats. Like I remember like the first heat, it was just me and Manny battling, and every time I took a turn, I would see that Hyper and Engineer were like 4 obstacles ahead, and I'm
They were
like,
going
I'm
really fast.
happy I'm battling Manny right now.
You'll have to tell him that next time you race on
Yeah,
DRL.
100%.
Yeah, so, and that was another fun thing. Our top 4 pilots, DRL pilots, plus Hyper.
Plus Hyper. Yep.
So that's pretty interesting. But you pulled it off. Congratulations
Thank you very
on
much.
a second first place. Do you think you're going to be showing up at Champs?
Absolutely.
All right. That's what I like to hear. I am looking forward to seeing you there and at many future Street League races. So here
Absolutely.
is your prize. Again, we're going to need a ETH and Bitcoin address from you so we can get you your street cred and Bitcoin.
Awesome. If I hold against the sign, you guys can read it.
There we go.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Want to shout out here, Orca, obviously. New V2 goggles are incredible. First day I used them was yesterday.
Yeah.
They're plenty fast. Let's see here.
I like your antenna on them,
yeah,
the best.
This was from
It's-
Imperious. He got like literal hands, and so I just popped one on top of the antenna.
So you guys threw hands
We threw
and they ended
hands.
up on
yeah,
the antenna.
Next to these hands, exactly.
That's
Yep.
that's wonderful. Anybody else you'd like to thank?
Immersion RC, absolutely. Ghost was rock solid all day. Best link that I could talk about. Shut up. Let's see here. Fox here, obviously. Redux Air, fantastic ESCs. I'm sure I'm missing some. 533, obviously.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it was awesome. Thank you guys so much for holding an awesome event. And this, I've never been here before. I've never been to Champs here. It's my
Same.
first time being here. This is an incredible venue.
Yeah, the ranch, No Quarter Ranch here in Citrus Springs, Florida, an awesome host. Thank you so much to them, allowing us to race and ultimately have such an awesome competition. Thank you, pilots, for attending, each and every one of you, especially you, Amari, for providing us with a top-notch competition,
Absolutely.
the
Smoke
smoke provider. So thank you so much for joining us, guys. This is going to be it for our broadcast here on Street League Drone Racing. Join us next time. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and we've got a wonderful Discord filled with an awesome community. So feel free to jump in there, and we'll do some sim racing and real-life racing here in the future. And I'll see you guys next time.